Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. And here in the Bible Bistro, I'm excited to announce today that Having Been Led is now available in paperback. So if you want to go out and grab a copy of it in paperback, if you don't have Kindle and you want to have a hard copy for yourself, just go to Amazon and type in Having Been Led. Just look that up. Having Been Led, a 30-day devotional. And if you'll type that in, you'll find it. A real pretty picture of a stream, channel of water on there, and some green and pink shades. It's very, very attractive cover, I think. Go there and get a copy of Having Been Led, and you'll enjoy a 30-day devotional based on John Newton Brown's Church Covenant. All right, today we're looking at Psalm 119. This is the 10th section. This is probably one of my favorite. Actually, verse 68. I'll just tell you right now, I'll just be right up front with you. Verse 68, my favorite verse in Psalm 119. Well, I say that today, but I mean it. It's meaningful to me. I've always loved this verse. It just tells you so much about who the Lord is. It's one of those confessional statements that's just absolutely outstanding. But we're going to read, this week, we're going to study verses 65 through 72, and today I'll be reading verse 65. If you have your Bible, why don't you turn there with me and check that out. If you don't have your Bible with you, or you can't get to it right now, let me read that for you. Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Lord, according unto thy word. Now, Psalm 119, the 10th section, 65 through 72, is different, just like all of the other sections are different from one another. We had a very interesting one last week, didn't we, with a little timeline, a little storyline going on there, an story arc happening. Here, we don't have so much of a story arc, but what we have is a development, we have the discussion happening about affliction and how it's really something that's good for us. So we're going to look at that this week. There's some praying that goes on here, some confession that goes on here. All of it is around the idea of affliction and what happens in affliction. If I could, let me just promote a book to you. This is not my book, so I get nothing out of this, but it's a book I recommend for you to read. It's called The Afflicted Man's Companion. It's by a Scottish Presbyterian pastor called John Willison. John Willison wrote this book back in the 1730s. It's excellent. I highly recommend it to you. That would go well with the study that we're doing this week. So verse 65, you have dealt well with thy servant. Now, if we're talking about affliction, it's interesting, isn't it, that he begins this section with this word, you've dealt well with me. And we know that we're going to be looking at the way affliction intersects the life of the believer. So, dealing well with us includes affliction and persecution by those wicked and proud folk who would come against us. All of this is what he calls well, dealing well. The Lord deals well with us, not when he gives us what we want, not when we are prospering above and beyond anything that we could imagine. No, that is not dealing well with us. Those things are wonderful. I'm not disregarding that. Health is wonderful. Success is wonderful. Love and home life and all of that is wonderful. But when we find ourselves in affliction, this too is wonderful. This is God's dealing well with his children. And you'll notice the second half of the verse, the B section, says, according unto thy word. So this affliction that is included in dealing well with his children is something that he has revealed in his word. So this way of the Lord is revealed to us. It shouldn't be something that seems foreign. It is not foreign. It's a part of what we do and who we are. It's a part of the Lord's dealing well with his children. All right, so that sets us up now for the rest of the week. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we see the Lord answer a prayer for the psalmist. I'll see you then on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.